Hare Krishna. Today is the 10th verse, right? Start or 11th?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji pranams. Yes, 11 Prabhuji.
11th is start, no? Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll start with the prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nastapráyeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttamastoke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistaki Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatkripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Chaitanyameshwaram Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshuram Militamena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Namah Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharane निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा रीडिंग फ्रॉम श्रीमद् भागवतम कैंटो 1 चैप्टर 16 टेक्स्ट 11 can somebody read whom is allocated any idea? If not there, anybody can read. No problem. Can somebody read, please? Yeah, go ahead.
It's allocated to Umashankar Prabhuji. I think so. He's not here, Prabhuji.
Go ahead, no problem.
Canto 1, chapter 16, text 11. Swalankritam Shyama Turanga Yojitam Ratam Mrugendra Dvajam Ashritaha Purat Bruto Rataswa Dvipapati Yukthaya Swasenaya Digvijayaya Nirgataha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Maharaja Parikshit sat on the chariot drawn by black horses. His flag was marked with the sign of a lion. Being so decorated and surrounded by charioteers, cavalry, elephants, and infantry soldiers, he left the capital to conquer in all directions. Purport. Maharaja Parikshit is distinguished from his grandfather Arjuna, for black horses pulled his chariot instead of white horses. He marked his flag with the mark of a lion, and his grandfather marked his with the mark of a Hanumanji. A royal procession like that of Maharaja Parikshit, surrounded by well-decorated chariots, cavalry, elephants, infantry, and band, not only is pleasing to the eyes, but also is a sign of civilization that is aesthetic even on the fighting front. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So, Maharaj Parishit going on kind of a tour to understand what is happening in the citizens. So, here specifically mentioned about the horse is riding, which is white horse for Arjuna, whereas his Parishit was run by black horse. And also the flag marked is, in case of Arjuna, it is Hanuman, that is here is lion. So we all know the pastime of how Arjuna came to, but the Hanumanji came to as a flag in the, Arjuna's chariot, because he had helped Lord Ram and he wanted to help to Krishna also in the same pastime. So he was in the chariot. So Prabhupada talks about that here. Yeah, we'll move on to the next verse here. Yeah, in this Vishnu Chakratokra is basically mentioned that the killing by Parishit is unpleasant, but at the same time is pleasant also, because punishing a culprit is a pleasant activity, even though it looks like unpleasant, but punishing the culprit is a pleasant activity. I mean, just considering today's situation in India, wherever sinful activity happens, it has to be punished immediately, because otherwise justice not given is justice not there. So this is what Srila Vishnu Chakravarti also mentioning that. Okay, so next sloka, somebody can do it.
Yeah, I am reading Prabhuji. It's mine. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shloka 1.6.112. Bhadra swamam ketu malam cha bharatam shotram kurun kim purushadani varshani vijayate jagrahe balim. Some disturbances there. Okay. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Maharaja Parikshit then conquered all parts of the earthly planet Bhadrashva, Ketumala, Bharata, the northern Kuru, Kim Purusha, etc., and exacted tributes from their respective rulers. Purport Bhadrashva, it is a tract of land near Meru Parvata and it extends from Gandha Madana Parvata to the saltwater ocean. There is a description of this Varsha in the Mahabharata, Bhishma Parva 7.14 to 18. The description was narrated by Sasyajaya to Dhritarashtra.
Sanjay.
Sanjaya, Prabhuji, yes, even I was thinking, who is this Sanjaya? Maharaja Yudhishthira also conquered this Varsha and thus the province was included within the jurisdiction of his empire. Maharaja Parikshit was formally declared to be emperor of all lands ruled by his grandfather, but still he had to establish his supremacy while he was out of his capital to exact tribute from such states. Ketumala. This earth planet is divided into seven dvipas by seven oceans, and the central dvipa, called Jambu Dvipa, is divided into nine varshas or paths by eight huge mountains. Bharatavarsha is one of the above mentioned nine Varshas, and Ketumala is also described as one of the above Varshas. It is said that in Ketumala Varsha, women are the most beautiful. This Varsha was conquered by Arjuna also. A description of this part of the world is available in the Mahabharata, Sabha 28.6. It is said that this part of the world is situated on the western side of Meru Parvata, and inhabitants of this province used to live up to 10,000 years. Human beings living in this part of the globe are of golden color. One sec. Are of golden color. One sec. Okay, Prabhuji. Are of golden color, and the women resemble the angels of heaven. The inhabitants are free from all kinds of diseases and grief. Bharatvarsha, the part of the world, is also one of the nine Varshas of Jambudvipa. A description of Bharatavarsha is given in the Mahabharata Bhishma Parva, chapters 9 and 10. In the center of Jambudvipa, Ilavarta Varsha and south of Ilavarta Varsha is Hari Varsha. The description of these Varshas is given in the Mahabharata Sabha Parva 28.7 to 8 as follows. नागरं स च वनंश्चैव नदीश्च विमलोकदा पुरुषान् देवकल्पंश्च नारीश्च प्रियदर्शना अदृष्टपूर्वान् शुभाङ्गान् सदर्दर्श धनञ्जया सदनानि च शुभ्राणि नारीश्च प्रसन्निभा. It is mentioned here that the women in both these verses are beautiful and some of them are equal to the Apsaras or heavenly women. Uttara Kuru. According to the Vedic geography, the northernmost portion of Jammu Dvipa is called the Uttara Kuru Varsha. It is surrounded by the saltwater ocean from the three sides and divided by Shringavan mountain from the Himalayan Varsha. Kim Purusha Varsha. It is stated to be situated north of the Great Himalaya mountain, which is 80,000 miles in length and height, and which covers 16,000 miles. Which covers 16,000 miles. One sec. Which covers 16,000 miles and in width.
In
These,
width.
these parts of the world were conquered by Arjuna. The Kim Purushas are descendants of a daughter of Daksha. When Maharaja Yudhishthira performed a horse sacrifice yajna, the inhabitants of these countries were also present to take part in the festival, and they paid tributes to the emperor. This part of the world is called Kim Purusha Varsha, or sometimes the Himalayan province, Himavati. It is said that the Shukadeva Goswami was born in these Himalayan provinces and that he came to Bharatavarsha after crossing the Himalayan countries. In other words, Maharaja Parikshit conquered all the world. He conquered all the continents, adjoining all the seas and oceans in all directions, namely by the eastern, western, northern, and southern parts of the world. Hare Krishna Prabhu, this is something regarding with geography. I didn't really understand the properly these varshas and all. Please elaborate. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, understanding geography is not important. Of course, Prabhupada has given, so I also don't know exactly. But the fundamentals that how big is creation and how big was Yudhishthira Maharaj and Parishit's ruling. So we are talking about India today, not just this world. They're talking about other the Varshas also. Talking about Jambudvipa, which is much bigger than even the Kimpurusha. There are different Varshas talking about. Prabhupada explains each one is Bhadraswa. This is a land near Meru Parvata, which is above the our earth. So that's where even Pandavas were ruling. So there are different oceans. They're talking about the salt water, the milk ocean, the then sugarcane water. The different the water oceans are there. So all this has been kind of ruled by Parishit Maharaj. So that is the point. And Ketumala is another, so part of the Jambudvipa. Now the and Prabhupada also talks about Bharatavarsha. Bharatavarsha part of this world, also 9 varshas of Jambudvipa. Description of Bharatavarsha is given. Okay. So these are the different part of it. I think I will search that. There is a nice diagram is available talking about where this Varsha is coming up. Maybe I'll search for tomorrow and share that. And also Prabhupada talks about Uttarakuru, Kimpurusha Varsha. So these are the different, it's not exactly planet, but different levels within this planet. And the again, important point is that how big was Parishit's ruling? So such a great personality was Parishit Maharaj and Yudhishthira Maharaj. Yeah. Okay, we'll move on to the next sloka. 13 to 15. Somebody read.
Umashankar Prabhu, will you read Prabhuji? Umashankar Prabhu or Archana Mataji, anyone wants to read?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Tomorrow I will read Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Archana Mataji, do you want to read?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah, will you read Mataji?
Yes, I will read.
Yeah, okay. Hare Krishna. Thanks, Mataji.
Text 13:15. Not it. Tatra taproshina.
Shall I read the shloka, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, because I am
Okay,
logged into a
okay.
phone. I'm
Yeah,
not
no
able
issues. I'll read the shloka. Tatra tatroparashvana swapurveshvam mahatmanam pragyamanam sayasha Krishna mahatmaya suchakam atmanam cha paritram ashvattamo stratejasa. स्नेहं च वर्षिणि पार्थानां तेषां भक्तिं च केशवे तेभ्यः परमसन्तुष्टा प्रीतियुजुर्भितलोचना महादनानि वासांसि ददौ हरं महामना. Mataji, will you continue?
Yes, yes.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Translation when purport by His Divine Grace is Sri Bhakti Vedanta Srila Prabhupada
Inside.
Ki. Translation. Wherever the king visited, he continuously heard the glories of his great forefathers, who were all devotees of the Lord, and also of the glorious act of Lord Krishna. He also heard how he himself had been protected by the Lord from the powerful heat of the weapon of Ashwatthama. People also mentioned the great affection between the descendant of Vrishni and Partha due to the latter's great devotion to Lord Keshava. The king, being very pleased with the singers of such glories, opened his eyes in great satisfaction. Out of magnanimity, he was pleased to award them very valuable necklaces and clothing. Purpose. King and great personality of the state are presented with welcome addresses. This is system. This is a system from time immemorial, and Maharaja Parikshit, since he was one of the well-known empires of the world, was also presented with addresses of welcome in all parts of the world as he visited those places. The subject matter of those welcome addresses was Krishna. Krishna means Krishna and his eternal devotees, as the king means the king and his confidential associates. Krishna and his unalloyed devotees cannot be separated, and therefore glorifying the devotee means glorifying the Lord, and vice versa. Maharaja Parikshit would not have been glad to hear about the glories of his forefathers like Maharaja Yudhishthir and Arjuna, had they not been connected with the acts of Lord Krishna. The Lord descends specifically to deliver his devotees. Paritranaya sadhunam. The devotees are glorified by the presence of the Lord because they cannot live for a moment without the presence of the Lord and his different energies. The Lord is present for the devotee by his act and glories. And therefore, Maharaj Parikshit felt the presence of the Lord when he was glorified by his acts, especially when he was saved by the Lord in the womb of his mother. The devotees of the Lord are never in danger, but in the material world, which is full of dangers, at every step, the devotees are apparently placed into dangerous position. And when they are saved by the Lord is glorified. Lord Krishna would not have been glorified as the speaker of Bhagavad Gita had his devotees like Pandavas not been entangled in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. All such acts of the Lord were mentioned in the addresses of welcome, and Maharaj Parikshit, in full satisfaction, rewarded those who presented such addresses. The difference between the presentation of welcome addresses today and in those days is that formally the welcome addresses were presented to a person like Maharaja Parikshit. The welcome addresses were full of facts and figures, and those who presented such addresses were sufficiently rewarded. Whereas in the present day, the welcome addresses are presented not always with the factual statements, but to please the post holder, and often they are full of flattering lies. And rarely are those who present such welcome addresses rewarded by the poor receiver. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay. So further, I said that how Maharaj Parishit was hearing the glories of Krishna and his forefathers, especially the Pandavas, and more importantly, the glories of Krishna. So, who were all devotees of Krishna, the Pandavas. So, throughout his journey, he could hear the glories of Krishna. So that's why Prabhupada elaborately talks about importance of glorifying Krishna. And it's also mentioned that how Lord saved Parishit Maharaj in the womb of his mother. That's also mentioned. Ashwatthama released his, the Brahmastra. So king, being very pleased with the singers of such glories, opened his eyes the great satisfaction. Out of magnanimity, he placed to award them with a very valuable necklace and clothing. So hearing about the glories of the Lord and his pure devotees is always very pleasing and purifying. That is a important task as a devotee. We should do that. We should glorify the Lord. Not only Lord, we should glorify his devotees, because talking good about others is a really a good habit. Because it's easy to find fault, but it's difficult to find good things, because our ego doesn't allow us to glorify others. That especially our equals, because somebody very senior will be very pleased to offer glories. So, but our equals, because that's where a lot of ego and envy comes. That's why Acharya is saying that we should develop that habit, that our equals we should be able to glorify, we should be able to find positive things, good points with others and glorifies. Otherwise, we are always finding fault. Like when I show finger at somebody, the three fingers showing it to me only. But I don't understand that. But I always find fault with others. So that's why Prabhupada talks about that we should always see how we can glorify the Supreme Lord and his pure devotees. So here Prabhupada says that king and his guests, his great personalities of state, are presented with the welcome address. So welcoming other guests with the real facts of their glories. But Prabhupada also talks about today people welcome them with a lot of flattering lies. But here the welcome address is addressed to Krishna. The subject matter of all this discussion is Krishna. So Krishna means Krishna and his eternal devotees. There's no difference. And the king, like Yudhishthira Maharaj or Parishit Maharaj, they are pure devotees of Lord. Their glories are equally potent of glorifying Supreme Lord. Prabhupada other places writes that serving his pure devotee is more potent than serving Krishna. That's what Prabhupada writes. So we always try to serve devotees. Dasa, 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 anudasa. That's the point here. So Prabhupada also talks about the Lord descends specifically deliver the devotees paritrana sadhuna vinashya dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So Lord comes to protect his devotees. That is the key point. Vinashya dushkritam and dharma samsthapana is the secondary part. The first point is to protect devotees. So Prabhupada says in the material world there is always difficulties. Even devotees also will undergo difficulties, but devotees always take shelter of Supreme Lord, and Supreme Lord comes and helps. That's why Kunti Marini also says that give me more and more trouble so that I can remember you. Because I remember you means your presence in my in front of me. So that's why Kunti Maharani is asking for difficulties, but we need not ask for difficulties. Difficulties will come. Its only thing is that we should know how to face the difficulty and how to cross over the difficulties. Prabhupada talks of Maharaj Parishit felt the presence of the Lord when he was glorified by his acts. So we can see the Lord's presence every act, every fact, that when we glorify the Lord, we can see the Lord face to face. So devotees are apparently placed into dangerous positions. When they are saved by the Lord is glorified. Not only Lord is glorified, his devotees also glorified. There are the important thing we can discuss about Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada has gone through so much difficulties. From our naked eye point of view, the business, the material point of view I'm talking about. The business he was running in Allahabad went into loss, he lost everything. He came back to Calcutta, started translating Bhagavad Gita, and one day so happened that whatever manuscript he has written is being sold to Gaddiwala, paperwala, by his wife. When he asked, where is the transcript? She said, I sold it. For what? For tea bag. So the many months of effort, day and night effort, is just gone. Because not like today's we have a soft copy, nothing, everything gone. So how anybody will feel? And after that, he comes to Vrindavan. There is nobody to take care of him. He alone is to travel from Vrindavan to Mathura. From Mathura by train, Delhi, What for? To distribute back to Godhead and collect papers in the hot sun. There are many days he fell unconscious on the street. All these difficulties he's gone through it. Then we all know that how difficult for him to get the visa for America, because Guru Maharaj is instructed that you should go to America, preach, and then get a voyage in Jaladuta, and in the seasickness and heart attack. And after going to America, how difficult he has gone through it. All these difficulties, and finally, we has proved to the world that just by following the Guru's instruction, how successful it can be. He could build the whole world, ISKCON, and the temples all over the world, 108 temples, and so many Gurukuls, so many disciples. So the Acharya is saying that Prabhupada showed to the world, without money, we can build multi-billion business, not business, basically the kind of service institutions. So there are proper disciples also today. They are also going through certain difficulties, so much, from materialize, they are going through so much difficulties, but they are showing to the world that how the difficulty can be faced, how we can cross over it and, present to the world. Examples like His Holiness Kadamakananda Swami Maharaj, who recently left the body here in the Vrindavan. He showed to the world how to leave the body, knowing very well he was undergoing to certain disease, cancer. And he was so smiling, so happy throughout those months. He came to Vrindavan just to, prepare himself to leave the body. And never ever would have said that, he's feeling sad, because actually he was happy going back home, back to Godhead. So this is set an example for all of us that how a devotee can leave the body. His only Jayapataka Swami Guru Maharaj, even after having so much difficulties, the body is paralyzed, there is liver transplant, kidney transplant, so many health issues, but morning to evening, he's always into preaching and he's always into service of the devotees. So there is no minute he left, not doing it. Like every day, Bhagavad Gita classes or Chaitanya Charitamrita classes or any other service, GBC meetings, somehow or other he's always engaged. This like this, all disciples of Srila Prabhupada and grand disciples, they're serving non-stop. Now, what is the lesson for us? That lesson, especially for me, is that I should also try to imbibe few qualities. I cannot imitate them, but I can do something, at least little service. So please, Srila Prabhupada, what all these great personalities of Srila Prabhupada disciples did. Other day I was hearing Indra Swami Maharaj, his younger days, how they were dedicated to Srila Prabhupada. One incident, Maharaj was saying that one of the travel time, I think, I don't remember this airport, the immigration officer told Srila Prabhupada had a small handbag. So the immigration officer told Srila Prabhupada, open the bag. We wanted to see what is that. Now, immigration officer, the security officer. So Srila Prabhupada was trying to open, but somehow zip is not opening. He was trying. So that security officer told Srila Prabhupada, open it fast. Means he was raising voice. So that time, Indra Maharaj lifted his hand. If you utter one more word against my spiritual master, I'll break your face. This is the reaction Indra Maharaj gave to the security officer there. So then that security officer got shocked. He said, I thought you were sadhu. You should be, mild. Then Indra Maharaj said, yes, I be a sadhu. But if you speak a word against my spiritual master, I will not spare you. So this is the dedication for protect spiritual master, protect guru, protect cow, protect woman, protect child. We should, show our anger. It's not that we should keep quiet. So that's the right example. Of course, the security officer also calmed down immediately. I realized it. There are so many other incidents, like how they were committed to Srila Prabhupada. Just Srila Prabhupada's one word, they were ready to give their life. Bhavananda Maharaj, just because I think Prabhupada told him go to Pakistan, he left. Very next day, went to Pakistan without having to know what is the risk he's going to take. So this is the commitment they had. So we don't have to do all those things. We have to do little service, little risk to preach in our area wherever possible. Little call 10 people, make some programs. These are the things what we need to do. So instead of unnecessary getting our time into other unwanted things, this is the best thing we can do. That's why Prabhupada is saying that our time has to be used not flattering the unwanted people, but glorifying the pure devotees of the Lord. With that, our life can be successful. I'll stop here. Devotees can share their comments. Share with the, who want to start? Asha Mataji want to start, or Uma Shankar Prabhu? We can start from the other side here.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Nothing to do today. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Shruti Mataji. Anything? No. Murali Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare
Anything?
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anything you want to say?
Second sloka we read today, Maharaja Parikshit conquered all parts of the earth. And that shows that Maharaja Parikshit was so great. Example, third sloka, Prabhupada spread the love of God everywhere. So we can do it in our own way. I thought like singing or anything. We always don't have to be Modi to be rule the world. So like that. So in our own way, I thought we can do glorification of God and following Prabhupada. Okay.
Thank you. Lakshmi Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I joined late. Sorry.
No problem. Maria Prabhu, is it okay to talk? I think you are outside. Is it okay or no?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
I'm unable to respond. I have been listening, but it's very partial.
Okay.
I'm unable to concentrate.
Okay.
Come down here for some family program.
No problem. No problem.
So,
Carry on.
in fact, I read the two verses, but hardly I could catch up something. I must still more pursue the two verses again.
Okay. No
And
problem.
understand in a better way. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Archana
Krishna. Thank
Mataji,
you.
is there anything?
No, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Asha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare
We are
Krishna.
listening from you and reading somewhere how Srila Prabhupada Guruji and his disciples have worked and to spread the Krishna consciousness. So at least we should try and imbibe some of the qualities of Srila Prabhupada's disciples and at least try and do in our own way wherever it is possible to spread the Krishna consciousness. That's my takeaway for today, Prabhuji. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Mataji. Thank you. Okay, we'll stop here. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya. Kripa sindhu bevacha paditana pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo ananta koti vaishnav vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna. See you tomorrow. Oh, sorry, no.
Pranams, Prabhuji.
Monday.
Thank you for the
Monday.
class.